show. So come on in and take a seat. Warrior class, we got the keys. Doom, 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 doom. To get you where you need to be, just study our show. And you're gonna grow like crazy. Watching you will see. Doom, 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 doom. Warrior class, we got the keys, just watch our show, 'cause it's for you and your babies.
Somewhere in the background. Do you have the show on or something?
Greetings, family.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you and you on my phone, Baba, but I can't hear you. I can hear you through my phone.
That's weird. I guess stop playing the YouTube.
Can't hear you coming from the computer.
Stop playing the YouTube, Ominiki, because it's
very strange.
You must have YouTube
I'm so
on.
sorry. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Can you all?
So now I can't hear you at all.
Oh gosh. I don't know what's going on.
Greetings,
Can you all hear
family.
me?
Please just stand by. We're working some things out.
Can the people watching hear me? Peace and blessings continue forevermore. Can you hear me?
Excuse me. Greetings, Cornelius Jones. Thank you for coming in. We appreciate you.
What's going on?
I don't know if you heard me, but again, just give us a brief moment. We're just figuring some things out.
Can you hear me?
I just can't imagine.
Can you hear me?
Oh, the myth conductor says that he can hear you and that I have an echo.
You have to go into settings. And,
so maybe I should go out and come back in.
Okay. Well, welcome to Warrior Class, where the teachers whoop ass, and you will too if you pass. Can everybody hear me? Can everybody hear me? Ooh, boy. Oh, yeah, we hear you. Okay, well, I guess Ominiki got to come back in. Let's see now.
Greetings.
I mean, I can hear you.
I still see you. Oh, wait.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Would you have something muted, the audio or something?
Yeah.
Okay, I was scared. I'm like, they can't hear me. Oh man.
Well, we're here.
So welcome to Warrior Class, where the teachers whoop ass.
And you will too if you pass.
All right, we're on the wellness episode. So.
And yeah, there are many different things different aspects of wellness that we'll cover.
Now, any news you have before we start?
One thing that we didn't talk about during the last show. Do I sound weird to you?
No.
Okay, great. Can you hear yourself?
Yeah, I can hear myself.
What this is what I mean. Is there a delay? Like, can you, when you're talking, can you hear what you just said?
No, there's no delay.
I don't understand why that's happening.
I don't know.
Hmm.
This is gonna be an interesting show today.
Yeah, it is.
Mhm.
What I was gonna say is that we never talked about the Carmelo Anthony situation,
What's the
and
Carmelo Anthony said? You mean his family moving?
I'm not the basketball player. The young man who's been accused of stabbing the young Yarugu at the track meet.
I ain't know nothing about it.
So I have not read that extensively into it.
Mhm.
Uh, yeah, Cornelius is saying I'm echoing. Carmelo Anthony, is that what I said?
So you can go into settings, go to audio, and you can uh, click echo, remove it.
Okay.
Oh boy. Go to audio and click.
I just did it.
Well, click that back again, cause
Oh, I clicked reduce background noise, but I can still hear myself echoing. Oh,
man.
no. What's going on? That's so
Mhm.
weird. I don't know. Um, I still have an echo for the family. I mean, I can hear that though, so obviously I still have. I don't. I mean, I haven't done anything different with my setting. Hmm. I blame Belay.
Ah, and Belay's out today. He had a death in the family and had to do some work too, so he's out.
Yes, peace be upon his cousin. I was just saying, this is not his fault.
So I don't know. Well, you're not echoing to me now.
That's good. Um, I'll just keep talking then.
Yeah.
Carmelo Anthony was a 17-year-old, or excuse me, is a 17-year-old young man. Can't
Mm-hmm.
remember the city. Haven't read that deep into it, to be completely honest. But as far as I have seen, he was a football player and maybe also participating in a community track meet. And there was a set of white twins who he had some type of issue with. And they were also at the track meet. From what I saw, it was not held at their school. This was something that was a community thing. And they did. He was sitting somewhere, and they felt like he shouldn't be sitting there, so they tried to uh, usher him out physically. And he ended up stabbing one of them, and they died. One of the twins died. And there's been kind of mixed reaction in some camps about, whether or not he did the right thing, whether or not he should have had a tool. Um, And if he's a murderer and all that, and if he, I guess because he ran when it happened, so whether or not that's an admission of guilt, a few things. The thing that I wanted to address is a 17-year-old carrying a knife. Because there's been questions about that. Okay, Brittany says she hears the echo too. I don't know what to do.
I don't know.
So what if I just
You
what
can
if
put
we
in
finish?
head you can put in
Okay,
headphones.
let me try that. Okay, I gotta run downstairs and get headphones. I'll be right back.
All right. So while Ominiki fixes her or does something to that echo, it may be just she needs headphones. I don't know how headphones fixes it, but it does. Um, Usually, I'm gonna read the chat. I saw this happen with Dr. CBS yesterday. One person might need to mute while the other person speaks. Yeah, but that true, but that can work. But it's a temporary fix. Hello, lovely lady, 37177. Let me see. Emmanuel Bridge. A lot of kids in Texas get their first knives and guns when they're 11 or 12 years old. Carrying a knife doesn't mean you're looking for trouble automatically. No. Um, I was in Chicago carrying a knife at 11 or 12. Before that, actually, but I was not looking for trouble. But I was going to defend myself if I had to. Now this just odd stuff going on today. I was going to defend myself if I had to. Um, you know, but by 11 or 12, I'd already stabbed somebody. I stabbed not with a knife though. The if you know what a taffy apple is, or you call them probably candy apples or whatever, they have a stick inside. And I was eating a taffy apple. It's a caramel apple, And the caramel apples I got didn't have any peanuts on them. I didn't eat peanuts, so I wasn't allergic. I just didn't like it. So I just had caramel. I was the only person in school that had caramel. I'm eating it, and this boy sits down. He says, "Man, you got another one in there? I'm gonna go ahead and take this, real quick." He goes in to take my taffy apple, and I out the pulled the stick out, the apple, stabbed him, right through the hand. Then I picked up my apple, went back to eating it. So that was when I was 8, I think, 8 or 9. I grew up on the west side of Chicago in a very impoverished area, and I was not playing with nobody. My parents taught me to fight back, but they didn't teach me to be like that. I was just like that. You weren't going to just take something from me and not get gutted. And then I stabbed another dude in the neck with a pencil. He kept pushing me down the stairs. I said, hey, this boy Julius. I said, hey, Julius, stop it, man. He said, nah. He kept on pushing me. So I'm sneaking my pencil out of my pocket while he's doing it. I said, stop now. He pushed me again. I said, you got one more time. He pushed me again. I turn around, stabbed him right in the neck. He falls down blue. Then that led to the principal calling me into the office with Julius's father and him. My parents found out they were livid,
Yeah.
and the principal spanked me in his bathroom, his private bathroom, with the lights out, my clothes off, and so they would, that. And I think I told y'all before. My father was like, "Man, let me see your booty." I said, "Ugh, see my booty." He said, "Yeah, let me see my booty." I said, "For what? To see if I got scars on it from them whooping me?" Yeah. And then he's looking, gets a flashlight, looking in my booty and jive. I'm like, "What are you doing?" And then my mother's doing the same thing. I'm like, "What?" They were saying if I had signs of being
Tried
raped,
to
but I
violate
didn't
you.
know that at that age. And my father said, "I got it. I'll take care of it." And he headed up to the school to kill the principal, honestly, and the vice principal, because he just didn't like him. They knew each other from the streets. What his plan was to kill the vice principal, shoot him. The principal would come out of his office like, "What happened?" And then he's gonna blow him away, and then go on off to Canada like he did when he did stuff. But he got hit by a truck on his way to the school.
Wow.
So he was knocked out the car. People said they saw him doing a perfect roll, unconscious. But it still broke his neck. So he was at the hospital. My mother was like, "Oh my God, we got to go to the hospital after I take you up to this school." So my mother took me up to the school instead. And we were in the office with the principal. And I won't say his name. His son is out here. I think his son's the principal of the school now. But my mother put the pistol. Well, it was an automatic actually on his table. She said, "You apologize to my son." He's like, "What?" He said, "You apologize to my son, or I kill you now." Apologize. I remember that. I'm looking at my mother like, "What the heck?" And so he stood. No, first he was sitting down. He said, I'm sorry, Adam, that I whooped you. I'm sorry. I did that in my bathroom, but I just wanted to be private. Nobody else was in there. Except
And
for Mr.
plus, if you
Barnes.
had clothes on, he could have whooped you out where everybody else was.
Right. So then she said, "No, stand up like a man. Stand up like a man and apologize. Talk to him like a man." So he stood up. "I'm so sorry, blah, blah." And she said, "All right, Adam, come on." And then she stood up, left. We left. I'm like, "What the hell?" So we
So
just
your
left out.
parents were kind of like that.
Yeah, for sure.
They
But
just didn't teach you how to be like that, but
right.
it
But
was in you.
it was many parents in that neighborhood like that. I saw a parent take a baseball bat to a teacher one time. She had whooped his son in front of everybody, like hit him like 200 times. It was crazy. And she went up to, she's like, "Okay, my son can be whooped, but this is excessive. Look at all these scars on him." And she said, "Now you're going to get scars. You're going to get welts." And she got to whooping that woman's ass in the yard in front of all of us. The teacher was running and shit. She, boom, just running her down. Boom. Hit her in the head. She fell. Couldn't run no more. And then she just got to whooping that woman's ass. Nobody called the police. None of the other teachers. Nobody called the police. She just got her ass beat and then she left. We ain't hear nothing else about it. So I don't know if the police were called later, but I just think the woman got her ass whooped and she stopped working at the school. I bet he never tried to push nobody else down the stairs again. Oh, you talking about Julius? Yeah. I bet Julius didn't. In fact, Julius was a dude who tried to, everything I did in life, he tried to copy it. I mean, he had that kind of a jealousy. So, all the children know how to martial artists. He took martial arts. When I went to the military, He finds out I'm 5th Special Forces. He joins Special Forces group. I think the 7th. He was nutty like that. Yeah. He found out that I was talking about pledging Q when I was in college. He pledged Q, but I didn't. Then he found out I was a Persian rifle, pledged Persian rifle. He pledged Persian rifles in the military. I mean, crazy, just a crazy mug. I don't know if he's still crazy like that. He might have 9 children. Shit. Find out how many children I have, you know.
Baba, I can still hear an echo. I don't know if anyone else can.
You can hear me echo?
No, me. I can still hear an echo even in the headphones. So that's why I was asking if anyone could let me know if I'm still echoing. But I can't hear feedback. Everything I say, I can hear it over again.
Wow. Is she echoing to you all?
But thank you for addressing the knife question, because that's basically what I have been speaking to on different posts that I've seen, that, training is really the key between whether or not our children should be carrying knives. But 17 is definitely not too young to have a tool.
No, it's not.
Okay, Baba, I'm gonna go completely out, so it's gonna take a few minutes. Because they say I'm still echoing, and maybe that'll help. Yeah. So, I'll see y'all in a minute.
Now, this came about, this wellness conversation, from a meeting that Yellow, my wife, several of my students, the ones who are instructors, and one of the students' wives, one of my daughters. One of my daughters was there too, who's not an instructor. We had a meeting about the martial arts school, about where we're going to go with it. So you'll be hearing things about Strike and Flow workshop that's coming up in June. You'll be hearing other things too, but that's the big thing that we're doing. We're going to roll it out someplace nice, and have nice dinner for folks after and all that. But the wellness thing came about because my son, he suggested the names of the workshops. So he suggested Strike and Flow, and then Warrior Wellness, and I didn't want to go Warrior Wellness. Several of my students didn't, because we felt, some of these people, a lot of these people don't even know what a warrior is. So that'll be the second one. But Belay said, well, we should go with that one. Because we're going to teach wellness too, wellness aspect. I said, well, martial arts period is wellness. I said, and I can deal with that in a sentence, in a description of the workshop. He said, nah, you need more than that. And I said, man, I've been doing this for 53 years. So not only do I have the experience, but I am a hell of a writer. I can do that in a sentence. So we're going back and forth. He's arguing with everybody. We shouldn't do it like that. We should just be plain and simple. Warrior Wellness. And I said that'd be second if that comes at all, but Strike and Flow sounds better, and people will understand when I describe it, how flow deals with wellness, how strike deals with wellness. There's the physical aspect, mental aspect, and the physical, mental, and spiritual aspect to everything. So there's layers to everything. And that's what I want people to understand. So I wrote the description. Um, Everybody loved my description, you know, including Belay. But there was already some conflict and some confusion and stuff like that. So I said, well, let's do a talk on wellness next Saturday on Warrior Class. I said, okay, cool. But his cousin had passed, so and he didn't know if he was going to go out of town. Then he got a job offer too. So different things came up, so he couldn't make it. So I'm sharing my part of the research. Now, a lot of the stuff, if you watch the promotion for this week, a lot of stuff that in that video that they were talking about, I imagine that those were, some of his ideas. And they're great ideas too. So we're going to get into wellness as soon as Ominika gets back. And get into talking about wellness, well-being, and health. How those three things have been used interchangeably in the past, but they're not the same thing. And we want you to know, all right? So we're going to get into that soon as she gets back. She's probably trying to fix the audio. I don't know what happened. I don't know how that happens sometimes. I think it's StreamYard, but I don't know. Let's see. So we're going to get into it. Trying to wait for her, but we're going to get into it. So the Global Wellness Institute defines wellness as the active pursuit of activities, choices, and lifestyles that lead to a state of holistic health. There are two important aspects to this definition. First, wellness is not a passive or static state, but rather an active pursuit that is associated with intentions, choices, and actions as we work toward an optimal state of health and well-being. Second, wellness is linked to holistic health. That is, it extends beyond physical health and incorporates many different dimensions that should work in harmony. Wellness is an individual pursuit. We have self-responsibility for our own choices, behaviors, and lifestyles. But it is also significantly influenced by the physical, social, and cultural environments in which we live. Wellness is often confused with terms such as health, well-being, and happiness. While there are common elements among them, wellness is distinguished by not referring to a static state of being happy, in good health, or a state of well-being. Rather, wellness is associated with an active process of being aware and making choices that lead toward an outcome of optimal health, holistic health, and well-being. Okay. Wellness is about more than just physical health. Most models of wellness include at least 6 dimensions, and sometimes up to 9 or 12. Physical, that's nourishing a healthy body through exercise, nutrition, sleep, etc. Mental, that's engaging the world through learning, problem solving, creativity, etc. Emotional, that's being aware of, accepting, and expressing our feelings and understanding the feelings of others. Spiritual, searching for meaning and higher purpose in human existence. Social, connecting and engaging with others in our communities in meaningful ways. Environmental, fostering positive interrelationships between planetary health and human actions, choices, and well-being. So those are the 6 main that they talk about: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, social, and environmental. All right. And, surprisingly enough, that's what they talk about, psychologists talk about when dealing with the mind. Okay. What is mind? What is the mind? The mind is the central nervous system. It's the glandular system, and it's the central nervous, the glandular system. Oh, and it's the gastrointestinal system. So that means it's dealing with, the mind is dealing with more than just central nervous system. Talking about what your brain does to your body. It's talking about also, if you're not feeling well physically, you're not feeling well mentally. Okay, so I just dealt with your part. Now I'm going to your first part. Now I'm dealing with my part.
Okay.
Well-being.
Still echoing.
Positive, huh?
Still echoing.
All right. Well, I don't hear the echo though, but well-being as a positive state experienced by individuals and societies. Now I hear the echo.
Right. I tried to do the echo cancellation.
Well-being encompasses quality of life as well as the ability of people and societies to contribute to the world in accordance with a sense of meaning and purpose. Well-being is a dynamic state that allows people to achieve their full potential and is focused on individual and community well-being. So both of these are dynamic, wellness and well-being. They're dynamic. Individual well-being is defined within 3 broad and interrelated categories. 1. The perceived assessment of one's own life as being generally happy and satisfying. 2. Having one's human rights and needs met. And 3. One's contribution to the community. Community well-being is defined by relationships and connectedness. Perceived quality of life for all people in the community and how well the community meets the needs of all members. By focusing on the whole person, the whole educational experience, the whole institution, the whole community, well-being becomes a multifaceted goal and a shared responsibility for the entire community.
Health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. Mental health is a state of well being in which an individual realizes his or her own abilities, can cope with the normal stress of life, and can work productively, and is able to make a contribution to his or her community.
You're kind of low. Your voice is kind of low.
Okay.
So to reiterate, wellness is the state or quality of being healthy. Health can refer to a number of aspects, including mental, emotional, and physical health. However, wellness does seem to specifically refer to health rather than happiness. Your concept of health may be different than someone else's, but the state of being healthy is what impacts your overall wellness.
If you hear the word thrown around in your workplace, it might refer to a program designed to help improve your health. Many corporations are investing in wellness programs that offer resources to help employees shed extra pounds, address chronic medical conditions and ailments, and make lifestyle changes, such as quitting smoking. You might have access to a discounted gym membership, a free tobacco cessation program, or a nutrition coach as a part of your company's wellness program. But wellness goes beyond any employee benefits your that you may qualify for through your employment. Your wellness is also impacted by your everyday health choices and the care you receive. Preventative care is an important aspect of wellness, as it can help you reduce your risk of contracting certain health conditions like heart disease and cancer, and understand the risk factors over which you have more control.
Well being is the state of being healthy, happy, or successful. Your health might play a role in your overall happiness level of your ability to succeed, but health isn't the overarching factor in your well being. In fact, well being considers the entirety of an individual, including their body and mind. Engagement is a factor in well being, as someone who is happy tends to be engaged in their activities, such as being involved at work and the aspects of life they have chosen for themselves.
According for the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, well-being focuses on having a positive outlook on life and feelings of positivity when approaching various situations and activities. Certain conditions of living, such as steady, fulfilling employment and stable, comfortable housing, are fundamental to a person's well being. However, the CDC also reports that well being incorporates other aspects of living conditions, including resilience, positive emotions and feelings, quality relationships with others, and the ability to realize one's potential.
Now, it's funny that the CDC is looking at that. Well, I guess, because the CDC is really a part of the United States Army. A lot of people don't know that it's military. So any family members, or if you work for the CDC, we know you're you're actually in the military. Okay, so in fact, you'll see CDC people working. They have on BDU battle dress uniforms and stuff like that. You'll hear them if you ever see them. You listen. You hear them calling each other, yes, Colonel, yes, Lieutenant, yes, Major, stuff like that. All right. As mental health awareness continues to increase, people are looking at how to balance their physical needs with their emotional and mental needs. Wellness and well-being impact the way someone feels about their life and the approach they take to living every day. Your healthcare provider can give you tools and resources you need to improve your wellness, while a mental health counselor may be able to assist you as you work towards achieving a greater sense of well-being. Achieving both wellness and a positive well-being can play a positive, significant role in the way you approach life and handle everyday challenges. With a strong support system and a willingness to continue to work at these needs, you may find that your life feels more fulfilled and your mental and physical health improves. So
Wow.
that's the definition of health, wellness, and well-being. Um, you may have seen on the promotion video a woman talking about box breathing. Now, that actually comes from the military, and from the United States military. it's actually to calm you down, to alleviate fear when you're in combat. Okay, so you would breathe in for 4, hold it for 4, breathe out for 4. That's used by the special forces. I don't know if other units use box breathing, as it's called. Um, I don't know. I know regular soldiers don't. You know, the regular army that does not. I don't know if other military branches use it, but they probably do because it's valuable. It works.
It sure
So
does. I use it all the time.
that's box breathing. So that alleviates fear. It does other things too.
It helps you
It
get to sleep.
yeah, it can help you get to sleep.
That's what I use
So
it for.
um, so it's good. Box breathing. Breathe in for 4. Hold for 4. Breathe out for 4. Now, in the military, we did it with our eyes open. I know some people may do it and close their eyes and, you know, savor the moment and shit like that. But we did it with our eyes open because we had to focus on a target. And then once the breathing, you've done about 4 or 5 rounds of that breathing, you go take care of what you need to take care of. Okay. So you can do it with the eyes open or closed. We did it with our eyes open, but
Right.
you can do
If
it
you're
with your
trying to
eyes
get to
closed.
sleep, you want to do it with your eyes closed.
Yeah, or you know, you at work, you want to calm your senses and stuff. You might want to have your eye closed. So it can help you stimulate the vagus nerve to help you poop. Oh, really? I didn't know that. Because we weren't pooping while we were on the on the mission.
You weren't,
We
Baba?
no, some stuff make you want to poop. Nasal issues like my polyps keep me from meditating. Hmm, that's sad. Sorry about that. I'm trying to incorporate meditation and mindfulness into my wellness program. So meditation and mindfulness, uh, they're great for your wellness and your well-being. So
I
you
would
should.
say to Daniel, why not just breathe normally? Still, work on meditating, turning inward, but
Right.
just,
So
try not,
meditating,
don't do the deep breathing.
right? Meditating isn't just breathing. It's also focusing your thoughts or eliminating your thoughts.
Right.
You know, sitting there and just not thinking of anything, and that's hard to do, by the way.
It is.
You
Yeah.
know, I had my students. I taught a camp once at my house, a youth camp, and I had the students. We would start every day with meditation. Ooh, boy, that was hard for them. They finally got it, but it was hard to even just relax. So I said, you know what? Let me try this with adults who most adults do not relax. Let me try it with adults. And man, you talking about fighting me? The adults were fighting me on that. You know, oh, I can't relax right now. I can't. Oh, yes, you can. Just relax. Just still yourself. You know,
Mhm.
that was real difficult for them. I had one student. We do a thing we call moving meditation too, but I had a student working on that, and he was. You're supposed to stand in front of the person, and you're linking with their arms. Their arms and your arms are linking, right? But first, you're here, He was, he was like on 10, ready to attack. Now, I've had that happen 2 other times. I had one student, he had some kind of mental issue. We didn't really know what it was. Like, his mama wasn't telling us. Even when I had to, well, he went to the hospital and he called for me, and I showed up at the hospital. Cause he was fighting security and shit. It was wild, but he didn't calm down until I got there. But I still didn't know what his issue was. Now, he told me one time. He said, "Man, your tie. I can just grab your tie and choke you with it." I said, "You could, but I wouldn't do that because I'm gonna drop you if you choke me with my tie, because I'll really be choking." You know, he said, I'm just standing in front of him. And I moved on, talking to other people, and then I got back to him. And he grabbed it, and he's choking the back of my tie. Like, literally, I couldn't breathe. I'm like, oh, God. Hey, let go of my tie. I won't say his name. Let go of my tie, He wouldn't let go. So, boom! Hit him in both ears. He let go then. And it was everything in my power not to do the rest of what I wanted to do. But I just, hit him, and went down. Well, when he went to the hospital, he was jacking them up. It took 8 security officers to subdue him. He was a big dude too, big immense dude. But yeah, he had serious problems. I didn't. So then his family moved. I didn't see him again until I moved here, and I saw him on the bus. He happened to be on the bus. So, and he's cool now,
Oh, really? So he was different?
No. He was still the same person. He was cool then, but he was more in control of himself.
That's good.
I don't know if it was from medication. I don't know if it was meditation. I don't know what it was, but he was more in control of himself. But he did say that I had helped him, so I don't know, probably meditation then. Another student told me one time, I just want to blast! I just want to blast people! I want to blast! He was an assistant instructor, by the way.
Wow.
I said, if you blast me, because we're working on something, that's dealing with meditation. It's a combat exercise, but we were doing it very slow. He said, "No, I don't want to go. I want to blast." I said, "If you blast me, I'm gonna tear your ass up. Tear your ass up."
Mm-hmm.
So, and I was serious. I'll tell you, I was in my early 20s. He was in his early 20s. I'm going to tear this ass up. He was 6'7". I'm going to tear your big ass. So, we're working. And he said, "Blast!" And actually hit me in my goddamn chest hard in the mud.
And he said blast?
He said it. "Blast!" And said, boom. I said, "You mother, plume, plume, plume." I hit him in the job. I was jacking him up. To the point where he got down on his knees, about to really pass out. And I just let him go. Well, I kicked him out of my school for a couple of years because, not from that. I'm like, we can go. Anytime you want to go with me, we can go. But I was training these Hungar masters. These Hungar masters had come to my school and they said, "We want to train with you because what we're doing, learning Hungar, we don't feel it's sufficient for our street, self defense. Doing a lot of forms, and it was pretty, but they didn't feel. So I started working with them. Um, he, his name's Ron. I won't say the rest of it. His name's Ron. He was there, because I'm working. So I worked with the instructors, my instructors, before they came. And when they came, I tell myself, okay, you got to go because I'm working with private lessons. And he was like, I help you with the private lessons. I'll assist. I said, no, these brothers don't want to be seen because they didn't even want their instructor to know what they were doing.
Right.
So he said, no, I'm not leaving. I said, you're leaving? He said, I'm not leaving. I'll fight to stay here. I said, you will not. I said, so you're going to walk out of here or they're going to carry you out of here, but you're going to leave. And, I used to talk to my students like that. I still do kind of, but I'm like, they can carry you out of here or, you walk out on your own 2 feet. So he was like, well, they would have to carry me. And he
said, blast.
He said blast. He didn't blast me. After he hit me with a double leg takedown. I said, what the right? And he was good. He threw me, boom, took me down with a double leg takedown. And I guess after that, he figured he gonna whoop my ass and just, prove that his mettle that he could be there. So I caught him in my guard, which means my legs were wrapped around his chest. And then he's trying to punch, so I'm moving him away from me. Then he tries to punch the guy, moving him towards me, but, off to the side with my legs. So he can't do anything. And then I started squeezing with my knees. Oh my God, it's crushing him. And it broke 2 of his ribs. So I said, I told you they're going to carry you out of here. And they carried him out. And I put him out at that point because I'm like, you just attacked me? Because I wasn't going to let you stay for the class or to watch other students. So he was gone for 2 years. He called me one night at home and he was crying and he said he wanted to come back. He didn't know what was wrong. He apologized. He really wanted to come back. And so I let him come back.
Aww. And that's the softer side of Baba.
Yeah. Now
after 2 years.
And he had been asking, but it wasn't that he wasn't, teary and shit like that. He was like, man, when can I come back? I want to come back. And no. And he called one night, just calling me at home, just on some, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. I'm fine, man. And I talked with him. Then he started crying and went to it. And a big man like that crying, first of all, I'm like, damn. And so I took him back. And after that, he became one of my major teachers.
Wow.
After that, yeah.
This is not, we're not talking about Akimbola, right?
No.
I'm just
Akimbola not 6'7", he's 6'4". This brother's taller than Akimbola. He's 6'7", and he's a little smaller than Akimbola. He's a big dude, but he's a little smaller than Akimbola. I would say they're both just as intimidating.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
So
except this brother had braces, so that kind of lowered his intimidation factor, but he was still intimidating.
It's good that we're reenacting these stories during this show because it shows how many nuts have been sort of attracted to, or maybe tend to be attracted to martial arts.
You're going to always get, So nuts are attracted to martial arts. Aggressive women and men are attracted to martial arts. Then you have just your regular Joes, who want to defend themselves. But amongst those, you're always going to have the hyper aggressive mugs, and then they want to defend themselves too, but they want to blast.
Right.
You
They
know,
want to double
so
it, take
you
down.
have those. I mean, hell, a Shubayi was a blast type dude. You know, until I humbled him out, so he started being humble. But he's a big 6'4", 280 pound of muscle dude.
I don't know about muscle, but
Yeah, you know that was muscle.
okay.
He was a football player too. You know that was muscle.
I
Shoot.
was there.
Like that Tim Allen movie, Joe Somebody. I haven't seen that.
Me either.
I haven't seen that.
Let me, since we haven't done this because of all the technical difficulties, I just want to shout out our family in the chat. I mentioned Cornelius Jones and the Myth Conductor. They were the first two in. We have our good brother Jadarion, Mustafa Saeed, which is spunkformations.com, Emmanuel Briggs, the Spider-Man 7285. Is that your birthday? My son's birthday is 7/3. Our good sister Brittany Bowman, lovely lady 37177. Our wonderful brother Eugene Mason, welcome in Eugene. Shanowski, and is that everyone? Daniel Youssef, and where are you? I'm Manifesto. We don't see you. Uh-oh. Baba, I can't hear you. Oh, it's your birthday today. Well, happy birthday. Today is a good friend of mine's birthday as well. The day before 420.
Today's the 19th, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna go see Sinners tonight. Me
I
and the
went to see
family.
it on Thursday.
Was it good?
Uh, there was a lot that I liked about it.
Oh boy.
I would see it again also. I'll
Okay.
say that.
Everybody said it's good, so I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah. It's shot beautifully. I mean,
I figured that.
beautifully. Yes. Very, very well done. I'm definitely glad I went to see it. You know,
Did you
maybe it
take
was
your
too deep for
son
me.
too?
Huh?
Take your son too?
No, and I wouldn't take him to see it. After having seen it the first time. There's definitely some adult themes and actions that
Happy
take place.
birthday, Spider-Man 7285.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I'm gonna take Yami to see it and see how she does.
Okay.
Now echoing again, and we can hear both of y'all. I think the echo might be coming from his side. Let me put the the thingy on.
You're muted now, Baba. Oh, okay. Love I am. That's another new person in the chat. Can y'all hear me? Can someone let me know? Give me the.
So was she echoing then? When he's muted, you're not echoing. Huh. Check my settings. I know. Let me see. Audio.
Look at you solving problems, Brittany Bowman. Go ahead on,
Echo
sister.
cancellation. Oh, okay. Echo cancellation. Now my echo is on. Echo cancellation is on.
Can you hear me?
Now,
I don't hear
me.
echo.
Oh, okay. So it was me.
Oh, I mean, I done restarted my computer. I
Mm.
went and got these headphones.
Uh oh. No, you're muted.
I know. I took it off. I do not
you
like
saying
wearing
they now
headphones
six.
during warrior class.
But I hear it. Wait. Talk.
Talk.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm good. Okay.
Can you hear me again? All right.
Yeah.
Go. Awesome. This is great. I love y'all family. Y'all just, it's great.
Y'all
Wonderful.
are
You're
holding down.
golden, Brittany.
Hmm.
Uh,
So, any questions on wellness,
yeah.
well-being, health?
I wish that Belay was able to chime in. This is definitely his bag.
Yeah.
But I think that the actual funeral is going down, or at least was very recently. So, but
You
yeah,
know, those also shout out to Sister Gilliam from my mother's church. She passed.
um,
A lot of death, and she
yeah.
passed. I think the same day as Belay's cousin.
Oh wow. Yeah.
My mother
It's
called me. She was the first woman, the first person that gave me a job, like helped me get a job besides a summer job.
mm-hmm.
It was working at this place called Kresge. She was a buyer for Kresge, and
Was it a department store? I can't remember. You know,
yeah, it's a department store, and it became Circle K.
oh, okay.
When it stopped being a department store and became whatever, like a convenience store type.
Right.
But yeah, I was shipping and receiving for Kresge. In fact, she stood up for me because the manager and the assistant manager called me into the office, and they said, your work is great. You're always on time. We love that. There's one thing that you got to work on. You got to smile. These
Mm,
two white men telling a black man he has to smile.
yes.
And I told her what happened. She came up, can I talk to y'all? She took them up to the office and they were going at it, arguing like a mug. And she was like, I just told them that is racist as hell. You tell a black man he has to smile. And they're like, it didn't have nothing to do with race. Sure it did. Sure it
Yeah,
did.
it that's what it's rooted in. I work at hotels, and that's actually part of, the the culture. Like they have it written down that you must smile. But I also know that it comes from, like, it's like when you're 10 feet away from a guest, and you are close enough to establish eye contact, you must smile.
But
And
what
then
I told them, I was shipping and receiving.
right. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
only shipping and receiving person, actually. So
Oh wow! So you
I
supposed to just be
was
in the
tired
back?
as hell, and I was not going to be smiling. So, no,
Wow!
no. I worked in shipping and receiving twice in my life there, and then I was working at Emory University's bookstore. One, I was like a kid in a candy store because all these books I'm around, they ain't just have academic books. I mean, they had whatever books you want. In fact, I had some books ordered and brought in. Oh man, I was back in shipping and receiving. It was all I could do not to shoplift up in there. Man, I got to put the alarms in the. That's what I did in there. I put the alarms in the thing, and then they would always request that I would come up front to bring something, or because the manager, this white German lady, had a crush on me.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I'm married, number one, and number two, you're white. I told her, hey, you're number two, you're white. And she said, well, white shouldn't make a difference, and marriage rate doesn't make a difference either. Just like that. He said, we can do what we do, and nobody would know. I said, well, everybody here knows that you're attracted to me because, I mean, you made it known or something, because everybody knows. And this other chick was digging me. She had said, now, she needed to go down to get something. She said, can I go down on you? I said, what? And she was blushing like, oh my God, I didn't mean that. I guess it was a Freudian slip.
Mm-hmm.
I said, what? And then this, brother who was in there that I would vibe with all the time, he said, man, in front of her, I said, man, come on. He on my shoulder. He said, man, did you hear what she said? You better get with that. I said, I'm married, dude. I'm not going to do that. He said, man, she want to go down on you. And so at that point, the manager started messing with her and found some way to fire her.
Get out. Wow.
Like that. Yeah. It was like that. So, for those that don't know, that was about 15 years ago. I was a handsome dude back then, but my teeth, I had all my teeth. I, was lean and jive. So, but
they were just therefore irresistible.
Oh man, you say it was Idris, me, Denzel.
Oh wow! Like in no particular order.
No, in that order. In that order. In that order, yeah. I won't be so arrogant as to say, I'm better than Idris, but
shout out to Mumbizi Jumbio. Is it Jumbio? Is that how you pronounce that, Bob?
He said, brothers don't encourage your man to cheat. No, you don't.
Please don't.
In fact, we were cool, but I haven't spoken to him since I left that job.
Right. I mean, that wasn't really your friend. So.
No, of course not.
Jamal09, shout out to you. Welcome.
I have, and I'm talking about that from a wellness state of mental health.
Right.
I had another thing. I was a concierge working at this place, and at the place, the concierge really was security, but you had other roles. Like you had to, a woman needed a dog walker. I called in, some dog walkers for a woman or whatever. Elton John, in fact, lived in the condominium where I work. The singer Elton John. But there was a brother working in there who had the shift before mine. I had the night shift. I come in, and he said, with your skills, I think I can employ you for something. I said, for my skills? He said, yeah. I can, I said, survival? No. The other stuff, like with special forces and your martial arts skills. I said, oh, really? So I'm interested, I'm interested in hearing the story and maybe interested in what he was going to hire me for.
Right.
He said, yeah, I pay you $20,000. I said, $20,000 for what? To hit somebody or something? He said, well, no, not really. I said, not really? What is this? He said, man, my girl's pregnant.
No.
I said, okay. He said, and I don't want to have no child, man, and but I still love her, so I don't want you to kill her, but I want you to do something, with you kill the baby. I said, one, you're out your fucking mind. I would never kill a child, but give me your information. I'll talk to the woman and let her know you ain't got to worry about it because I'll tell her you want to kill her child, and she'll be gone. No, I didn't. Yeah, their child, right? No, I didn't. I don't want her to be gone. I want to be with her, but I just don't want the baby. And so you would put your wife, your woman, through the pain of losing you all's child, being attacked by somebody, as a matter of fact.
That too.
And the child dying. I said, I'm not going to do that. Don't ever speak to me about that again or about anything. And it was eating on me so bad. I started to tell the building that we work for, but I couldn't really say that. I couldn't really say that had something to do with work, but it did have something to do with his character.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
But it wasn't me. I know they listen to us sometimes anyway. So they may have listened to us, but they got rid of him.
Wow.
Yeah, people wanted to hire me to hit his unborn baby.
It's funny that in this society, how lightly the lives of unborn children are viewed, and how that's just like he thought that he would be able to just still have a relationship with her, and
well, he could because he would right. He would have played it. He probably would have played it off like I'm gonna kill that dude or whatever.
Right.
You gonna find that dude. So he doesn't take any of the blame. So he still would have had a relationship with her.
Right. But I'm just saying, like you said, it speaks to his character. The fact that could even come into his mind. And
I started noticing after that, maybe it was just because I knew then, but because he was there about 2 weeks after, but I started noticing it was like an evilness to his eyes. I don't know. Maybe it was just in my mind, this motherfucker's evil.
Right.
And that was my opinion. Like, damn, he's evil. And yes, I can't remember his name. Well, I would say it because women should watch out for him.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Maybe he's still with the woman, but I doubt it.
Oh, man. Can you imagine? And now they have the child.
Right. He probably did something, got some other fool who would kill a child. To do it $20,000. Yeah, that's good money.
Yeah, there are people out there who would do that. Well, one thing I was going to say though, just I guess in alignment also with mental wellness is there's a lot of discussion in our community about where do I begin with this? About accountability, all these man-woman sort of issues, this sort of back and forth. In particular, there's tons of discussion about women and how many children they have and how many fathers of the children, that there are out there. The reason why I bring that up is because one thing that I have always wondered about that I haven't seen be a part of the discussion is abortion. And the fact that when someone is qualifying these people for relationships, no one ever asks, how many abortions have you had? Or if they're talking to a man, how many abortions have you been party to? Because that speaks very deeply about who a person is, and where their character is, even if it was something that happened previously. Like that's a spiritual thing. And like I said, our view and our taking on of really another, I guess, culture and community's view of unborn children and how they're not out here, so we can just do whatever we want to them, Yeah. Like it really is killing us. It really is it really taking us down.
Now, I don't judge other women when they get abortions, but I really am only for abortion in two instances. One, a rape, and and that woman has to decide if she's going to keep that child.
Right.
And the other is if it is causing physical detriment to the woman.
Right. And could take her life.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I'm not. I mean, it's one way to stop having baby. To be honest, stop fucking.
Right.
That is never a part of any conversation.
No. No.
Unless, you don't have to have sex like that. I'm a man that got 9 children, but
You've
still,
also
I'm
married.
married and I'm not a sex fiend. Well, I'm just fiending for. I had an uncle that said to me one time, if he went 30 days, now I don't know how he knew this, but he said if he went 30 days without sex, no, he didn't say 30 days, 2 weeks without sex, he was a goner. He was gonna have a stroke or something. He just knew it.
A brother that both of us know just announced on his social media that he's trying to get. I don't know if it's just brothers that he's talking to, but he's trying to get from the 1st of May to the 1st of June. He's trying to get some brothers to commit to 31 days of no sexual activity whatsoever, including any kind of like masturbation. So
Now,
how it goes with him.
abstinence is not discussed anymore. For me, I had a student that came from England, not Akinbobala either, but another student that came from England, and he said to me proudly, Baba, I haven't had sex in how long? What did he say? Did he say 2 years? 2 years, and was proud. And I said, okay, well, why are you so proud of that? And I will say this about that. He said, what? I said, I'm a revolutionary. A revolution ain't worth fighting if we can't birth children now, because they carry on the people, the children. Now, I'm not saying just be loose with your penis and stuff like that. I'm for abstaining for a purpose. Like you say, 31 days without sex. If you're not, that's if you're not married.
I would assume, yeah.
I know I can't go 31 days without something, masturbation or sex or something. Well, I can't say that because my wife will go to Africa for 6 weeks at a time. Mm-hmm. Always does. I can deal with that. But she said, I want to, stay for 6 months. I said, no, babe, I'll be fucking something. You going for 6 months. Damn. That's 2 seasons.
I don't think you would.
That's 2 seasons. Like, damn, half a year? Nah. I mean, I wouldn't be out here, hawking for none either. But boy, I'd be going crazy. 6 months? That's a long time. For a married man, it is not a long time if you're single. Now, the one thing, and shit, for some single men, but
I was gonna say, don't tell a single man that, because they definitely.
Yeah, I part of me thinks single men have more sex than married men. Honestly, some single men do.
I'm sure.
Many single men, because they're freer with their privates.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah. It's a lot going on out here.
man, a lot going
Hmm.
on. Shoot. Now, when you're dealing with health, we talk about mental, physical health, wellness. Um, One, try to eat the best you can. 6 months or more will enhance you as a warrior. I don't know how can you know unless you've done it. I don't know if 6 months or more. Well, I can say this: when I was young, I been without for yeah, probably 6 months. At 17, 16, 6 months, and you say what? I've been having sex since I was 4 years old. Um, Outside of the abuse, that ain't sex. That's abuse. That's rape. But I've been having sex since I was 4 years old.
And
I
as,
grew up.
go ahead.
I grew up in a very impoverished, ignorant environment. My mother always tried to instill things, and I was a good child, and she'll tell you that he was a good boy, right? But I've said it on here. I've always had this thing for women, though, since I was a child. For women and girls, right? Girls when I was a child. I was 4 years old, and I guess this is rape too, really. This girl named Pam, she would only deal with boys much younger. So I was 4, she was 8. I did again with her when I was 8, she was 12. I tried to do it again when I was 12, and she said, "You're too big." As a 12-year-old, and I said it like that to her then. As a 12-year-old, too big.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. And so she had at 16, she had an 8-year-old boyfriend. Now I ain't no way in the world no 16-year-old gonna walk when I dated my son was 8 years old, could walk her ass in my house talking about this is my boyfriend, unless she's joking. There's no way. But she actually had an 8-year-old boyfriend. So she was gone. She was gone.
A lot to unpack there.
And she got, I mean, she had a lot going on with her. But her auntie, who she called her mother because she raised her. I guess it was auntie or grandma. I can't remember. But Miss Johnson was my teacher in 3rd grade, something like that. She was always winning in Chicago, and then she moved to Jackson, Mississippi. She was always winning the Teacher of the Year award. And that's because she would beat your behind. She'd say, line up. We making noise. She just walked through. Boom! Punching the boys in the shoulder. Boom! Boom! We getting rocked. Boom. Then we tighten it up. Wow. She say, be quiet. We acting up in class, right? Talking. I was the biggest talker in the world. She just walk over. Now, me, I didn't get hit like that. I was her pet, right? She was just at him. She had these 3 yardsticks. She at him, and I'd be quiet. But some other boy talking like that and shit, crack, 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 on his arm. If he talking, she just walk over and just crack him. That was Miss Johnson. She had the fear of God in us. That's why she was the #1 teacher. I just heard your shout out. I'm 2 times trying to catch up listening to you. Oh, I thought that was Miss Johnson. I'm like, oh my God. I think Miss Johnson's dead now, I'd imagine. I don't know. Well, because she was younger than my mother, I think. I'm not sure. And my mother is 93. She's still alive, so I don't know. She might be.
Could be.
Or Pam. Pam out here. I just heard you shout me out. I'd be like, oh my God.
Yeah, Pam.
Yeah. I threatened to
Need to be dealt with.
Well, we got caught. Now, you know, also her mother Miss Johnson was so crazy. I was gonna tell we got caught one time doing it.
Mm-hmm.
My sister said, "You're gonna tell mama because we tell her you really gonna get in trouble." So I told my mother. I waited till my mother came in and went to sleep from work. I said, "Mama, I had sex with Pam." She said, "Oh, okay, all right." And she went back to sleep. And she must have at some point woke up and said, "That boy told me he had sex." She got up and tore my ass up. So I said, damn, the leg of a wooden chair and lined the whole class up. Damn, your teacher was rough. So facts. Shoot, there's somebody in my class I know. So anyway, my mother tore my ass up. Don't do that, boy. You know, you go apologize to that girl for having sex with her. Apologize for having sex with her. I said, no.
Someone older than you?
Yeah, she got mad because I said, well, you know, I did it good, Ma, so I ain't apologizing. What? She was mad. And she wasn't thinking Pam is younger than me. You know, I was taller than Pam and all that. But yeah, Pam was older than me. She wasn't thinking of that. Well, I didn't go apologize. I went to tell Miss Johnson. I said, well, I had to tell my mother. I'm going to tell Miss Johnson, too, that we did it. And she was, no. I said, yeah, I'm going to tell Miss Johnson, too. She was crying and jive. Please, I don't do that. Please, don't. You know. And some about that, me with crying, folks, I got a soft spot, but some about the way she was crying and scared, and I knew how Miss Johnson was.
Oh, yeah.
And there was a rumor that, like, once Pam had broken her arm, there was a rumor that Miss Johnson did it, threw her down the stairs. So I stopped. I said, all right, you know, forget it. So I didn't tell. But, yeah, Pam and Miss Johnson. I hope they both okay now.
Yeah, some kind of way. I'm sure they are.
Well, I think I saw Pam on, but I'm not sure. It said Pam Johnson on Facebook, and I think she's married now. So it looked like her, but I'm not sure because it's been so many years. But I think she's married now. So yeah. I just would a talking to have been a better approach? Talking to who? To Pam? No, Pam had problems.
I think she asked the question prior to you telling the story. I think she is talking about how the teacher used to come down on y'all.
Oh no, talking to Miss Johnson. Believe me, people have tried that.
Her talking to you rather than punching you.
Oh, her talking to me would have been a better approach.
Or the rest of the class. I think that's what she means.
Oh, probably. Now, yeah, women crying always gets me too. Yeah. Now, would a talking to? Yeah, probably everybody but me. And the reason I guess I had a real problem too of talking. It got so bad, they called my mother in. They said, look, we tell him to be quiet, he doesn't. We spank him, he doesn't. Be quiet. We sit him by himself. He, hey, talking. We move him over by the girls. Because that was, you know, boys are shut up most. So he's talking to the girls. Like, you know, he they friend. I was. So we don't know what to do with him. We don't know. My mother said he's always been like that. He's a talker. And Ide's a talker. My son. We had to buy him this book, the book of why. It asks questions why.
Oh, you mentioned that a few weeks ago. I think
always had, questions.
Wilmington.
Okikiola is a talker. Oh my God. So they got that from me, because my wife not a talker like that. So they got that from me. But
it's good that you understand yourself and that you understand that in them, because especially back in the day, just like your teacher, people will try to beat that out of you,
right.
instead
Now,
of coming to terms with it a little more.
Yeah, and I'm glad my parents never tried to beat that out of me either.
Right.
I think because they were different thinkers. They were advanced thinkers for that time. My mother was born left-handed, and her parents, they didn't beat it out of her, but they tied her left hand to her side and made her write with her right, because
that was common.
In those days, they believed that the left hand was the hand of the devil.
Right.
So they make you write with this. And she's like, my parents did that ignorant shit. And so she writes like a left-handed person, but with her right hand. And I was shocked that they did that, because my grandfather especially was I won't say a Renaissance man, but almost like that, the stuff he was doing. But he was a Mason. He was a preacher, but also they say a hoodoo man. I don't know, but just different stuff. He was more advanced in his thinking. Just like my mother and like my father, so I don't know.
The thing about, I think, being an advanced thinker, there's still certain things that get you, like that left-handed thing, especially if it's a common thing in your society. You might be a forward thinker about a lot of things, but then there'll still be those little things that sometimes it's difficult to be different, It could be very difficult to be different, even just being different from the rest of your family,
Right.
So like there's always going to be certain things that get those people, that catch them up.
I was always encouraged to be myself and to be different from, so I was the one that was into role playing games and different stuff like that. Reading science fiction, fantasy. But now like I said, I grew up in a very impoverished area, and you would think they wouldn't be into that. The gang head of the vice, with unknown vice lords, that's a branch of the vice lords. He asked me to teach his foot soldiers Dungeons and Dragons. But he wanted them to learn Dungeons and Dragons for the teamwork, the camaraderie, learning how to work as a team, to kill, stuff like that.
Strategy.
Right. But they got into it. He said, I want to do it. They know chess, but I want something deeper than chess. So I taught him. And then he took it from there. He bought all the books and started teaching, working with them, taking them through different modules, which are scenarios, adventures, himself. So it was different like that. But he was different anyway too, because he had the whole all the vice lords listening to rock music, whereas they weren't, listening to that. I remember when You listen to that in some circles, not on the west side though, but uh,
Mm-hmm.
south side, and why you listen to that white music?
I
Listen,
never heard that until I moved here.
really? Yeah,
Mm-mm.
I heard it a couple of times in Chicago, but never on the west side. The west side was really, it was poor as hell, violent, but it was forward thinking.
Yeah.
People there were forward thinking, man. You know,
Not that
also,
listening to white music is forward thinking necessarily, but
yeah,
just
not yeah, just
going
say well,
outside of everything that's placed in front of you.
right, and calling it white music is backward thinking
Right. That
because it's
too.
just music.
Right.
It's just
Yeah, bro.
music. Um, to me, black music was, and it ain't no more today, was like reggae, music from Nigeria, Mali. That was black music to me.
Yeah, bro.
You know, rock music is ours, guys. Yeah, rock is ours. It comes from the
Mm-hmm.
blues, really. Rock is ours. Country. If you really want to go deep like that, we started those music forms.
And just speaking of centers, I didn't know this when I went to see it, and I definitely don't mean to spoil it for anyone, but there is a blues aspect of it, which makes it very interesting. Like I said, it was a good
Well, I
movie to
figure
watch.
from that era, from the 1920s or 30s, wherever it's from,
Yeah,
whatever that time
yeah,
is.
around then. Mm-hmm.
Well, it got to be 20s because it's prohibition, isn't it?
Uh,
Earlier.
it may have been. It may
Excuse
have
me.
been. We don't really get
Excuse
into that.
me
Okay,
for 1 second.
no problem. But yeah, rock music is ours. Oh, thanks for bringing that out, Brittany. Um, oh, I didn't shout out Mercury Tribes. Welcome, Mercury Tribes. Again, where is our I manifesto? He didn't make it this week. If anyone has questions or stories to share, we'll definitely read them out. Um, oh, okay. Jamal9 says he wrote it for his uncle that introduced him to blues music. Okay. That's beautiful. That's what's up. Like I said, it's a very well. I think I would see it on the big screen again. I'm big into watching movies in that format. I think that I guess because I was a film student, I think it adds a certain thing to it. It raises the stakes in certain movies and adds to them to actually see them in the movie theater on the screen as intended. So I think I would go see it. I was really excited that it was coming out. So I'll probably give it a few weeks so I can kind of forget what happens a little bit and go see it again. So Jadarian, that's what's up, man. Baba can talk that film talk too. But
Yeah, you're gonna see that tonight. He wrote it for his uncle that introduced him to blues music. Oh, wow, that's cool. Um, so during that era, we call that the diesel funk era, right?
oh, okay.
Some white people call it the diesel punk era. We call it diesel funk. Um, that era, that's gritty. Gangsters.
Mm-hmm.
That era. Uh, that's one of my favorite eras to write about, to watch. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, Michael B. Jordan did a really good job in his performance too. That
Now
gritty.
they don't have
You're
they don't
talking
have glittery vampires, do they? I can't stand. I want vampires to be the
nothing,
horrific.
it's nothing like that. They're not glittery. I'll just say that. And Michael B. Jordan is very like he has more texture to his performance, I think, than he normally does. Because to me,
He plays
honestly,
clean.
this is huh.
he plays twins, so
Right. So he's able to, and he did a good job. You definitely could tell the difference between the two. And he was just really manly, which this is not wellness related, but I've always seen him very boyish. I would never thought he was attractive, even though that was, that's been like a big thing for the last few years, how attractive he is. But in this movie, I thought he was attractive. He seemed very much more like a man in this role. So, good for him. Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, Brittany. Absolutely. Yeah, I don't like boys. That's
What did you
not.
say,
I am
Fame?
not whatever her name was, Baba, that you was messing with.
Oh, Pam.
Yeah, I don't like boys.
Yeah.
Not my thing.
Most women I know don't, but hey, some do. Now, unfortunately, on the other end, a lot of men like girls.
Yeah, that's another aspect of what I was talking about when with all of this talk in our community about, whether or not a woman deserves a chance to try to, have a man in her life after she's gotten older.
Right.
Or because there's a new model coming off the belt every 18-year-olds. Women turn 18 every day. So
Right, exactly.
yeah.
Now, do you, maybe it's too personal, but do you agree with the thing about men who want women to completely shave down there? They want a girl.
I don't know. I guess I haven't given it a lot of thought. I mean, the logic of it makes sense, but I think there could be other reasons why. I
Yeah,
don't want to get too deep into it.
yeah, right.
But
Now,
I mean, there could be other reasons why. There
I,
are. I'm sorry. I just wanted to say this. There's also a whole talk about preference, and we try to position everything as preference when some things are rooted in mental illness.
yeah,
You know what
right,
I'm saying?
right.
Like, right. So, but
I prefer to be choked unconscious.
exactly. Yeah. So
That's
we
you
don't
got.
have to talk about the fact that that there's a sickness there with that. You just file it under preference, and then no one can
Right.
ever say anything.
Right.
So, it could be a preference thing. It could be something else.
Yeah,
I say investigate further if
yeah, I think it's rooted in something. For me, I don't care whether it's completely shaven or not.
Right.
Because you also got the people that like it hairy. And I don't care, but some men that prefer it completely clean. They say, I don't want no hair on my donut when I eat it. So we'll put it like that. But
Oh boy.
but I don't know. I kind of think that it may be rooted in some sickness there.
Okay.
Yeah, and as a man, I'm thinking that not and most men wouldn't. Of course, you're not going to admit it, but most men wouldn't recognize that.
Right.
But everything we do has a meaning.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
Especially if you express such a strong,
right. Because that's been on Facebook lately a lot. Like people talking about that. I'm like, you're talking about that so strongly.
Right.
It means that much to you. You need to examine that. Why. So.
Yeah, that's true. Because it's not healthy for the woman.
Right.
Not a healthy thing for the woman. So when it's just like relaxing your hair and stuff like that, and thank goodness, after many years, finally I think the preference of enough men is that women have a more natural kind of hair. But for a long time, women that I knew, they try to have naturals and stuff, and then the man would come into their life and they would have to relax their hair because the man was like, "Yeah,
That's crazy.
like you
That's crazy.
have to have a relaxer," and it's like it doesn't matter if it's doing something to her, it doesn't matter if it's affecting her health, none of that matters. It's just what you want to look at, That's it.
Brittany said, my mom said brothers didn't used to care about vagina hair or leg hair or underarm hair on women until recently.
It's definitely, it comes from, and I always think about this as far as are the way that things go in our society. It really comes from advertising. Someone had razors for men to use to shave,
Right.
and then one day in a office somewhere, probably in New York, they say, how can we expand the use of this product?
Right.
And then all of a sudden it was nasty for women to have underarm hair. They have to swing it that way so that everybody, and they did. They opened up a whole nother,
and they tell the lie of if you got hair down there or under your arm, it holds stink.
Right.
Not if you. I mean, you don't wash your hair.
Right. Not if
Not
you're not clean, then yeah, you're gonna stink.
Right. Your hair on your head gonna stink if you don't wash it.
Right, exactly.
So,
but you don't have to wash it every day. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
For this thing. But if you washing other parts of you every day, yeah, you're not gonna stink. That's a whole nother discussion that
that's the lie that's told. So you will cut that.
Right. And your leg hair too. Like you look nasty. You're something, and it really just comes from someone wanting to sell more of something. And
that was so crazy, even with locks. I remember back in the day where they were like, locks, they just so nasty. Mm-hmm. They so nasty. Where does that come from? Now when they said that locks are nasty, I don't know, because you ain't advertising nothing. So I don't know where that came from. Or like the boy, they made him, who's wrestling, and they made him cut his locks off.
Right. That's cultural warfare there. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
They selling something else with that. Right. It's self-hatred. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that also benefits them greatly.
Right. Well, y'all, we enjoyed being here. It's
always.
I don't know what time it is. It's 2:53.
Like yeah. So we're close. We're good. Yeah. As always, our discussions sort of veer into other areas, but it's still pertinent. And we have to talk about things. I realized this week, I think more than anything, what I've been bringing up, this whole man-woman thing, is something that has been, I don't know if I want to say bothering, but really sitting with me for a while. I would say a couple of years, just thinking about the way that this interplay, because it affects our community. It affects our ability to build community. It affects how we feel about each other. And the things that these thoughts that are put into our heads by outside forces that benefit, like we're talking about, that benefit from us, thinking that we thought of these things and then going forward into these discussions. And, it's something that affects our community a lot. So maybe it's something that I'll talk about more in the future. But thank you. We have to have these discussions.
Have to ask hard questions or embarrassing questions, because they don't get taken care of. They don't get resolved if we don't. Right. So thank you all. Be safe out here. Be safe in there, wherever there is.
You're welcome.
Stay black or whatever it is that you may be.
Absolutely.
Peace.
Peace. Love y'all.
Love y'all.
Don't be out here crying. I'm just playing. Bye.
You get me, you out here crying.